I've played soccer for 12 years, and it's definitely my favorite sport to play, but never really got big into watching soccer on TV because really the stars that I would idolize, that I do idolize, play in European soccer leagues, and oftentimes the games are on at strange times or um, on weird channels that I can't really find. So never really got big into following international soccer, and MLS soccer really is just a big step down in my opinion. So I never was really big on watching the MLS, but for the MLS, I fear that this is kind of the mindset of most soccer fans in America, that they don't really like the MLS, and if they do watch soccer, they follow international soccer. And I think that's because of two main reasons. The first being the level of competition in the MLS is really not even close to the standard is it in European leagues, and also that the just that the soccer world doesn't really have a high level of respect for the MLS, at least not to the level that they respect European clubs. So first, the level of competition. Very significant. It's very noticeable if you watch Manchester United play compared to like the Chicago Fire. And it's really almost like comparing the NFL to arena football. It's a big step down, and as BleacherReport.com says, it's sad because the well of fans are here in the United States, but for talent we look elsewhere. And really, this is kind of a big problem for the MLS, and also kind of their fault, really, because of their draft window. The draft window is the period between the end of the season and the start of the next season where players are free to make any trades within the league or switch leagues altogether. If you're in Europe, really, you're switching leagues. Not really here, but either way, our draft window and the European draft window do not line up. So even if big names such as Ronaldo and Messi wanted to come to the United States to play, which they probably wouldn't because of the other reason, the respect, but even if they wanted to, they, according to their contracts and according to the draft windows in both leagues, wouldn't be able to. They'd have to really kind of find their way around that, probably plan for a couple of years to make the switch, and really it's just kind of they wouldn't even want to because of the level of competition here. The MLS actually constructs a all-star team, taking the best players from all the different teams in the MLS, composing one team, and they go around and play international teams, European teams actually, which in itself is kind of a slap in the face to U.S. soccer that they're playing individual clubs as an all-star team. But as sportsnews.com described it, when they first started this, it was they called it two successive blowout games to Manchester United. So not only can our all-stars not beat a club team, they're getting blown out. So really, you can clearly see the competition. It isn't even close, and the MLS could be fixing this if they decided to change the draft windows, which, according to BleacherReport.com, FIFA numerous times has asked them to line up their draft windows to coincide with that of European leagues, but they don't. They won't do it. And for some reason, because this would definitely increase the competition, because maybe not Ronaldo or Messi would come over, but you might get mid-level players in Europe, which would shine here, would really boost the competition here, which in turn would boost fans. It's a guarantee. But the next reason the MLS is struggling in terms of a fan base is because people don't really respect the MLS as a prevalent soccer league. And this is for a couple of reasons, but it's bad enough that the word soccer is in the title, because if you ask a European soccer fan, they cringe at the word soccer, but it's not going to change to football because we already have an established sport way more popular than soccer called football. So really no changing that. But what the MLS could change is almost their attempts. I won't call them attempts. Their Americanization of the sport. And what I mean by this is the playoff structure, the bracketed structure of it, and the games, how they format the playoffs, really. And the problem with it is 10 teams out of 18 in the entire league make the playoffs, which is a little ridiculous. They have this huge bracket structure, so they need 10 teams. Really, it's almost promoting fairness rather than a natural competition to improve the level of play. But so 10 teams make the playoffs. They're seeded, which is fine. Top teams play lower level teams in the early stages of the tournament, and as they go on, that's how that works. But the actual matchups, they play 2 games against the same team, where they're allowed to end in ties, which is a little ridiculous, if you ask me. But if there's no clear winner after the 2 games, meaning they either tie twice or each team wins 1 game, the decision comes down to goal differential, which is not a very suspenseful way to conduct a playoff structure, and definitely is, for me at least, is a reason why I don't follow MLS soccer, because just the competition, as I said earlier, but also it's hard to almost back teams in the playoffs and really get excited about it when they're allowed to end in a tie. It's a little ridiculous if you ask me. But so I think that if the MLS were to implement changes to these 2 things, meaning the draft window to promote a higher level of competition, and also kind of redesign their playoff structure, they would get a more solid following and definitely would raise their popularity. And according to HotTimesInAndOldTown.com, this popularity would attract better players, which would raise the level of play, in turn causing owners, investors to invest more money into the sport, which would, raise the fan base for sure. Advertising would go up. But really, the MLS has some things it can't control, like the fact that Euro leagues have been established a lot longer than it has. As I said before, it's only been established for 16 years. So obviously that's a hardship to get through. But as the MLS develops and builds fans in America, it needs to step these 2 things up if it wants to branch out and become popular in other countries as European soccer is popular here. Definitely the competition would need to rise, so it's not looked down upon in terms of European viewers, and also for the same reason, so it's not looked down upon, almost the lack of respect for the MLS. They need to take a look at how they're formatting their playoffs, and just make improvements to the league so that they can build their fan base and in turn attract, because more fan base ultimately is just attracting more money for them as a league, which is the main goal of the MLS. They're a business, they're in it to make money. So these 2 things, I believe, are key factors that the MLS needs to definitely take a look at moving forward. And I think that if they change these 2 things, who knows, by 15, 20 years down the road, it could be almost as prevalent as a European league. So.